people are there, and this person's in as well. All right, so we're going to start. After our massive success last week, I've got another good skin disorder to show you how we used some of our miracle medicine from 365 Healthy by Choice and our QUEXE Dr. Skio quantum medicine devices to restore homeostasis in the body, and also mainly get to the root causes of disease, validate these risk factors, work on them, and reassess progress, not only physically, but also using an evidence-based medical device registered with FDA, et cetera, with all the validation and verification certificates. So this is very important scientifically moving forward, because this device has got many double-blind studies done. And that really sets your research aside from anyone else's. So we are really gifted to be able to have this device where we can actually measure our before and afters. Okay, so people are there are a couple of people still coming through. All right, so that's I think the gist of it. We are really blessed to have these devices. We're really blessed to have these products. And I think also the ability to think critically and use our intellect and bring knowledge to the table, rather than and be very objective about what we're doing, as opposed to the old paradigm, which is subjective, reductionist, symptomatic, diagnosis-driven, and repeat script orientated, whereby you would then be adding more products because of the side effects of the synthetic medicine on the body, and not really ultimately arriving at wellness. You may be just ill but symptom free. You're not actually well. So we know how to measure that, because we do that electromagnetically, and then we do it chemically, alchemically, molecular and atom and ion based, and then we will look at the biology. So it was very interesting to see people's comments when I posted the pictures and the information about today, because the first person said, the people's original first reaction, should I say, was, well, what is that? In other words, what's the diagnosis? And at the end of the day, your body is giving a picture. We're quantum beings. We live in a quantum world. We're in and from the morphogenic field, the universal field. We are all need to be charged. We proton linked, entwined, entangled, and we can't get away from any of that. And what happens over here is going to happen over there, and behind us, and in front of us, and above us, below us. So we're living in an interrelated, interdependent, integrated quantum field. And so is our body. It's no different. It's no use taking the skin and making a diagnosis. Well, there's eczema. Where does that leave you? It doesn't give you a root cause. It hasn't given you anything. So we don't really need to diagnose. When people come and see us, it's fine. Tell us your story, give us your diagnosis, give us everything. Our job is to return and restore the body to homeostasis, where the electromagnetic fields are operational and on 100%, and where the chemicals, the pH, the ions, the oxygen, the hydration levels are all on 100, or the pH is 7.4, for example, and the electron levels are right. And that the nutrition levels are right, that the mineral levels are right, okay? And then don't worry, the biological picture will fix itself. So we are really beyond biology, all right? We are in the realms of chemistry, molecules, atoms, photons, electromagnetic charge. So if we get that picture, we are, that's just basically saying this is who we are. And I just want to fetch a picture quickly. Okay, this is my dusty old man, but this dusty old man is just beautiful. Can you see the antenna here? So This is a picture of an olden day, very olden day, ancient tribe in Africa. Can you see the antenna? This tribe knew that could be connected to a universal field, and they had an antenna to do that. This is how conscious they were of it. Okay, and I've seen this as well in New Zealand, where the tribe also, they have these woven antenna that reach up into the sky. So if you can picture yourself like that, does it matter what the diagnosis is? No, because the diagnosis or the symptoms or the biology is the after effect. It is the symptom showing you that there's a problem in the body, and the skin might be your weakest point because of the fact that the liver and the kidney and the gut are overloaded. Your heart, your circulation might be your weakest point. Your thyroid might be your weakest point. It's not the cause, it's not the beginning. It's an end result of the body being out of harmony, in disharmony. Okay, so if we're coming from the point of view that we are in a quantum field, connected, entwined, entangled, where the protons are connected in entwinement, where we are charged by things like photons, life force, electromagnetic fields from the sun, from the earth, from air. Air is a free radically highly charged scavenger. I mean, it causes rust basically, but it's highly active in the body at scavenging free radicals and things. So everything that we're doing there is to actually get ourselves to a point where we're thinking clearly and living productively. So just get to the point we don't need to diagnose. We can. That's not the point. That is very much old paradigm. We fix the whole body, all right? Because we are a whole being. So if the skin's bad, we've got to find out why and work back to the electromagnetic charge, and then charge the body, get the chemicals and minerals correct, and then watch the biology come into homeostasis. All right, so this is just the point I wanted to show us all, is that we are a part of a much bigger space, and our ancestors knew this, and that's just evidence of that as well. So just to share that with you. Hope you enjoy that. Okay, so if we're coming in with that space and that view, let's have a look at how we put together a case study and how we reached the results. All right, and you know, bearing in mind when people present with very bad biology, poor biology that's manifested at a very bad space, for example, a really red skin. There's stress, there's an emotional aspect, there's the neurological aspect, the physical aspect, as well as the spiritual aspect. And we're just not listening. We're hearing things, we're seeing things, we're aware, we're feeling things, but we're just not listening. And me included, we're guilty of this. So we want to sharpen our pencils. We want to think more clearly and live more productively, more in the now, and more on purpose. And I posted it earlier this week. My son, who's 19, was saying to me, Mom, you know, I'm partially connected and I'm partially not connected. That's the way I feel. Sometimes I'm really, you know, in the same space as my friends, and sometimes I'm really not. And depends which friends I'm with, Mom. And so we spoke about all of this. And, you know, there's different tracks for different people, different levels of consciousness. Some people can take a short amount of time. Some people were born very conscious. Other people might be born in a very unconscious state, let's say full of toxins. But boy, oh boy, they can overnight shift like that too. So you can't judge. And I always say that we are all at school, because until any of us can walk on water, we're in the same classroom. So it's about listening, hearing, taking the information in, physically experiencing things, documenting it maybe, and going internally, so that you can then expand into this huge universal space this cosmic space, the morphogenic field. All right. And that's where we come from. That's where the almost gold is. That's what helps us solidify and incarnate. And it's a very important part of where we are. And it's an important part of our life force. And it's an important part of keeping our battery charged. We don't get almost really anymore from the soil where the food's grown, nor the food. So we would, we need to get it. It's in spring water. It's in herbs and superfoods that are grown in fertile soil without chemicals and pesticides. And that is the food. We spoke about that last night. That gives us the life force. And life force is not something you can actually really buy. You can buy it in a bottle because obviously we encapsulate it, but you can't synthetically buy life force. And that is the very big difference between natural products, nature-made products, as nature intended in the quantum spin with the ormus, with the life force, versus a synthetic product with the negative spin, the anti-spin, all right? The non-life force that drains us, that drains our battery. So we can choose 365 days a year, 24/7 if you like, in that split second. Is this thought charging me or discharging me? Is this food charging me or discharging me? Is it leaving me empty? Is it leaving me flat? That huge Sunday roast with all the things and the fried and the heated oil and etc., etc. And probably the worst time to eat gross food is, because food is the grossest form of getting energy into our body, is when you're stressed because everything's shut down. So that's going to just sit and hang around and, leave the stomach in huge big pieces, attract worms, which will then multiply, make you more toxic, burrow through the intestine, into the blood system, get to the head, get everywhere, into all the cells, and, wreak havoc in the body. So every single thing we do, how we look at something, how we process a thought, is going to either charge us or discharge us. So if we can get to a point where we can witness what's happening with a non-judgmental awareness, as Professor Desiree Dubonnet speaks about, I think that is a space of being right here and now, not judging things, and a space of being contented right here and now, grateful for everything you have, everyone you know, all the things that you do, the life you've been given, your birthright, if you like, that gratitude for the abundance that you have, what we have, without being having envy, jealousy, greed, desire for things, for more and more and more and more and more. Those are sicknesses, quite frankly. They're addictions. So we want to simplify things, and we want to be in our space. Taking my son's decision further to the next step was 2 days later, I got a call to say, you know what, Mom, it actually doesn't matter where you are or who you're with or anything like that. What matters is that you're living your purpose. You're doing what you came here to do. And I thought to myself, wow, well, osmosis has happened along the way. I'm really pleased about that. It's nice to hear it coming back to you. But, if a 19-year-old can figure this out, what the hell are we doing? So let's use that as an impetus to go into this presentation today. And, with huge respect for this lady, she really, really went through what she would term hell. She was in hell when she came to me, and then she still had to detox. But, the benefits far outweigh those detoxification times. And also, she knew that the detoxification was absolutely critical to get herself well. So with that understanding, my guidance, my raising her awareness to all of this, the information from the quantum device, and then the way the nutrients potentiated everything, she was able to put herself back together, and just in the nick of time, because then her husband was diagnosed with cancer. Okay, separate story. But she was able to get herself to that point where she could actually then cope with other stresses without the body reacting. So many of the manifestations we see are not really new. People have had them for a long time and ignored them, thought they'll go away, thought they don't mean anything. And meantime, the disease patterns just get deeper and deeper and deeper entrenched into the body, and you get more and more and more of a flat battery. Professor Deja Dubonet said that 6 out of 7 people in the world have a flat battery, and only 1 million can afford to do anything about it. So we've got to go into that and discuss and work out why our batteries are so flat. You know, why the adrenals are so compromised. You know, and we know it's stress, we know all of that, but maybe the magnetism is draining us. The outside wrong spin magnetism, maybe that's draining us, maybe the heavy metals. Let's see some root causes as we go through here. So let's open up and see where we start. We're starting with Jane Live and Skin Part 2. So please invite your friends. This is complimentary. The more we can spread this, and I hope you do share some of the videos or refer people to the YouTube, the more we can share this information, the more we're winning, the more educated we're making people. And, you know, I was just chatting to somebody earlier who managed to corner me on a phone call, but and asking me the questions that we all ask ourselves in any case at some stage. And, you know, he was very concerned about his mom that had gone and got the vaccination. And we were talking about, you know, the potential effects of, rather call it an injection, of this on other people and the magnetic field that you put out there. And we know that if you're on antibiotics, you're putting out a field there, and my microbes are not going to like it. They're going to withdraw. And people can see this on a microscope. It's not rocket science. You know, you put somebody's blood and everything under the microscope, and people walk in who are antibiotics, you can see the effect on the blood immediately, like you can see the effect of consuming almost on the blood before and after. So we know we're energetic beings, and we need to be aware of the energetic effect of people around us, of the earth, of geopathic stress, magnetized water, of the wrong spin of a heavy metal, the toxicity of arsenic, mercury, and all that it has on us. Because people come and see me who are living in negatively radiated fields. They are sleeping in a negatively radiated field. There's geopathic stress under their house or their apartment. They're living today and nearly died. This girl is got severe Lyme's, okay? And not getting right, just not actually thawing, not even really sweating in the sauna to that extent. I think I spoke about her before. And lo and behold, they came in today and we were talking. We have been on this gear, and I did speak to her about the geopathic stress. She's sleeping with a double adapter with a whole lot of plugs in right under her bed. Plug the base of the cell phone, that thing that the normal phone goes in, those handheld phones. They are terrible. They're worse than a cell phone. Plus the lamps, plus the charger, plus the everything right under her head, and the plug is right here near her. So a plug is going to create a field of 1.5 to 2 meters, whether it's on or off, because it's getting fed. So the electricity is running up and down that plug to that plug point 24/7. So if you have a plug behind your bed where you're sleeping, you need to go to your electricity box and switch that line of electricity off every night when you sleep, because she's getting nuked 24/7. And unless you sit with a therapist who's got time to work out what's going on in your life, your lifestyle, what your home looks like. Oh, the other thing, they're living in thatch, and they're getting a shower 24/7, or for definitely the whole night that they're sleeping, of particles from the thatch. Some of them alive, most of them alive. There's dust, but there's particles, and there's things that eat the dust that are also falling on them. How's she ever going to get to homeostasis? You know? And they know it, they can see it, and it's been happening for years as well. So, In addition to the environmental toxins, the chemical toxins, she's got a radiation field, many of them, under her, and she's got this showering of parasites, really, and she's just breathing them in her lungs. I did speak about it. I spoke about her lungs. She can't breathe. So in order to get a sweat going in the sauna, I said to her, why don't you just walk for 20 minutes before you come? She didn't walk, she ran. She got to me, she could hardly breathe. She was about to have an asthma attack. So immediately we got her to, we got some oxygen gas down her throat, our actual Cell Vitality Oxy Minerals. And I'm not joking, within 20 seconds she could breathe. The inflammation went down and the parasites died. So it works instantly on inflammation and exactly those organisms. So fortunately, we had the tools. But as she exercised, she stimulated the release of toxins through her lungs, which were compromised, including the movement of the mycoplasmas and all the other parasites in her lungs too. See, so she couldn't move, so she wasn't moving. That's why then her blood's not moving. So she gets to the sauna, it takes her 25 minutes to start sweating. Too scared to breathe because she couldn't. And when she took a big breath, then it would bring on an asthma because all the toxins start pouring out. So why were they pouring out? Because somewhere along the line, the liver, the gut, the kidneys, the skin were blocked. So we have got to unblock all of these portals of detoxification, if you like. All right. Plus, come in with loads of oxygen, loads of almost gold to recharge her, the flaxseed oil to get electrical potential across the cell membrane, what else do we use? The microbiome reset to get the gut microbiome refired up, recolonized. The RNA, DNA to start restoring the DNA, because she doesn't have to wait to be coded. She's already getting coded because the radiation is cutting her little fragments into different pieces, getting them smaller and stuff. And then she starts replicating smaller and wrong. She's busy decoding herself or encoding herself on a daily basis, living in that electromagnetic field. That's why we have earthing mats. I'm going a little bit off topic, but it's so relevant because we've got to get to the root causes. So these earthing mats, okay, they get plugged in to the earth of the building. We measured with a voltmeter. By just touching it with my tiny little finger, I have created an electromagnetic field around myself, shielding me from the computers, the cell phones, other people walking in, geopathic stress, cell phone towers, masts, and whatever other radiation, magnetism that's out there. It's inexpensive. You'll have it for life. You get it with a wrist mat as well, a wrist pad. So either are going to work. We have to work with objectivity, things that work. This works. What also works is walking bare feet outside because you're going to trump the EMF. Anyway, the reason I'm spending a bit of time going through all this is because we need to not leave any stone unturned. We need to canvass all the areas that can be root causes, be it not breathing properly, be it radiation, be it direct environmental chemical toxins coming at us in the air, the food, the water, be it toxic relationships. And I know we're all connected, but we're all growing too. So we have to also be selective or stand back, witness in non-judgmental awareness. But we're getting there, okay? So there are all these aspects that are root causes. Food additives, I'm going to show you now. I mean, I've got a page this with this much writing on it to share with you, how we started piecing this lady together. Any case, so you can start sitting back now and checking in your own home. And that's what I did about 20 years ago. I thought forward. I had a premonition and I thought forward and I thought to myself, how do I want to be one day? And I did it. Lived the purpose. I didn't move left or right. I set up the solar completely, from the pool to the irrigation to the entire house, right? Off grid, including the space heating. I've got a heater on right now. It's a pellet burner. It burns up the invasive trees in South Africa. and it's inexpensive. For 80 Rand a day, I heat my entire house. I've got glazing on the windows. I've got insulation that meets European standards. I gutted the floor to the sand. I rebuilt the insulation in the floor. So, you know, you could put a couple of candles in here and it'll heat up, basically. So I thought this. I put in fruit trees, put in the biodynamic, the gardens. I put in the indigenous plants. I didn't want anyone to have power over me, to be telling me things. When there's load shedding, it's fine. It's absolutely black out there. It's black anyway because I don't put lights in the garden at night because I want to sleep in the dark, right? I want my melatonin to kick in properly and my nervous system to rest properly and my dream state to be right as well. I don't want the light coming in. If you're living in a place, in a room where there's light outside, that's fine. Get blackout curtaining and seal it. Block it off so that you're in the dark, or just do your room in the dark. And, you know, then I went and learned about all these things, which I'm able to share with you now, and you're able to share your wisdom with me, which is beautiful. So, and I love that. So that, you know, I could prepare for the space and really understand how plants grew and really understand how, you know, the mechanics of the body, the electromagnetic field, and just lovely to walked into Professor Desiree Dubonnet, have walked into the nutrient-dense, nature-made, quantum-based, we call it our toolkit, that we pick and choose from based on our the smaller quantum 450 device. You know, there again, a doctor came to me and he said to me, Jan, I want to sell you this Q450. So immediately I look, because I don't need machines, right? Because I know, of course. Anyway, I'm joking. So he said to me, it's going to change the nature of what you do. And I looked at this thing, I saw it, and I just knew. And he was absolutely right, because I had objective assessment of people, holistic, 450 readings in 1 minute. And it never fails to amaze me at the brilliance of this. Never mind the brilliance of the QUEX. So aren't we grateful when we stand in the morning or in the evening, when we wake up or before we sleep or in the middle of the day, whatever, when we're outside and we have the photons streaming on us, you know, the cosmic background, microwave radiation, getting bathed in that, the cosmic dust falling on us, all the food falling. There's tons of cosmic food that falls on us on a daily basis. You just have to walk outside for more discussions. But when you're standing there, when you're wherever you are, that is the point, the presence. It's now. You don't have to go anywhere. We're here. And what's gone is gone. And what's coming is coming. I didn't do this because I was preparing for a lockdown. My God, it was the furthest thing from my mind, you know. But I did it because to me that felt like a harmonious way of living, where I've got big windows, where I'm seeing the nature, and I'm interrelating with the nature. The nature speaking to me. I'm speaking to the nature. The sunflowers are growing out there, and we're in the energy field. They're speaking to me, I'm speaking to them, for example. And my animals and the microbes out there, and the nematodes in the soil, the birds, the cosmos, the planets, the sun passes over every day. So I wanted to live in a quantum space, okay, that was interrelated, integrated, and then gravitated towards that Turning Point book, Fidget Capra. I was 18 years old. I bought the book. I never knew why I was buying the book. Before that, I bought a book called Alternative Medicine. I think I was 13 years old. In there was homeopathy, Rudolf Steiner, naturopathy, foods, and everything. Why did I buy that book? I mean, it's just weird. So you see how you've collectively followed your life. You know, I got my natal chart read. It meant so much to me because it confirmed I was living the life I needed to be. I was making the decisions I needed to be. I was where I needed to be. So all of those things, because that's working on the science of astrology, you know, gave me that pivotal point from which to move forward, backwards, left, right, up, down, wherever we need to be. And Yes, well, we can go on about all of that, and I'm sure you've got great stories to tell as well. All right, so we've got a good question here. So yes, Anna's asking two questions here. Does the quantum device indicate geopathic stress? Absolutely, for sure. It rules it out. So when we start with the quantum device, of course, we put in the lifestyle factors and we get an SOC reading, which is a resistance to flow. Okay, and we get your ability to cope with stress. That's the Cele bar and Cele. And then we run a calibration. And that calibration rules out electromagnetic fields, geopathic stress, Hartmann crosses, microwave, so that we are only speaking and dealing with the client that's keyed into the software. So yes, it will. It absolutely does and will. And then there's radiation panels and a whole lot of places to deal with, electromagnetic frequencies and radiation toxicity and finding it, looking for the heavy metals, looking for the causes of it. So it's absolutely brilliant. And then will grounding mats help to agree with all the plugs around the world? So no, you'd have to just change the plug to your country. And then you're done. So it's not connected to the points that conduct electricity. It's connected to the earth connection only. So whether the plug is on or off, it makes no difference. We're only concerned with the earthing of the plug. Okay? So we only that it's in an earthed building. That's the most important thing. It's not going to take away the electricity field that the plug has. So you still don't want that plug, even though it's off, if it's too close to your head, you still don't want the plug there. You want to move your bed to the other side. Okay. I think the Egyptians put us onto beds. Our ancestors before they slept on the ground. They were on the ground 24/7. They were in the circadian rhythm of the earth. I'm not suggesting we go back to there. We've evolved. We've evolved in leaps and bounds, intellectually, consciously, emotionally. Some people maybe say, well, we've devolved. I don't think we've totally devolved. We just need to tie everything together now, is what I'm thinking. So what we want to do is simplify things, because complexity is not nature. Nature is not complex. It's actually very simple. So I hope that's helped you there. All right, let's go back to these slides and have a look at Our Lady and see what she has to say. So this is our skin part 2. And those of you who missed part 1, I suggest you just go to the YouTube channel, the Jane Mackenzie YouTube channel. I've got the immune lectures there and the Jane Live Miracle Medicine 365 Healthy by Choice. So we've got it all there for you. All right, so the first thing we want to do, and there's really loads of root causes of diseases. So this particular lady who you'll see just now, actually, her daughter I knew from before, and her son, and she had been to conventional doctors, and she'd actually, you'll see from what I'm going to say just now, she's actually suffering from steroid toxicity because of the amount of cortisone she'd shoved down her life. She's got this terrible skin disorder, which you'll see, and it had happened repeatedly, especially in times of stress. Especially in times when we got it right down to the root, the base. She thought her son had died and he didn't die, but she forgot to let go. So since that time, she had repeated skin outbreaks. So she would probably hold on all the toxins, and then suddenly, for whatever reason, they would all come pouring out and through the skin, because the kidneys were blocked, the liver was blocked, the digestion was blocked, the pancreas, she wasn't breathing. The blood glucose levels were out. The hormonal levels were out. The blood pressure levels were out. So she was full of mycoplasmas, staph, which often affects the skin, subacute bacterial infections, pseudomonas infections, anthrax, full plate of GM organisms, protozoa, which you get from malaria, from mosquitoes, mold, thinking of those people with a thatch roof, mold all over the place, the blood full of ammonia, telling us that the liver's not working properly. Also the urea levels up, telling us the kidney levels aren't working properly. So you could see she was full of synthetic chemicals, lots of stress. Her blood, she had blood fever, virus. Apart from circulation problems, that she had protein fibers all over from undigested protein, liver problems. She had fatty deposits in the blood, cholesterol crystals, obviously caking on the vessels. We don't see that from the blood directly, but the vessels were caked. We saw that from the device. A perfectionist on top of it all. So you can imagine a perfectionist trying to get everything perfect. Lots of cell hyperplasia, lots of blood fat. I mentioned that. Low erythropoietin precursors from the bone marrow. The bone marrow was suffering because the kidneys were bad. They weren't instructing the bone marrow to produce red blood cells, white blood cells, beta cells, T cells, NKF cells, stem cells. So her immunity was low. Her iron levels were low. Ability to carry oxygen was low. She was full of things like her melatonin levels were low, right? And one of the reasons for that was that she was scratching the whole night. She was awake scratching the whole night. So she wasn't ever getting a full night's sleep. So she was on her nerve ends. The nervous system was compromised. She had lactic acidosis, which was coming out in a very wrinkled skin. She had heavy mercury poisoning, heavy metal poisoning. She had poisoning from the amalgam fillings in her teeth. She was full of aflatoxins, which is from peanut butter, peanuts. She was full of tartrazine, which is that orange dye that they put in cool drink that you dilute in water, and where else they can put it. She was full of solvents. She was full of things like stearic acid, which causes lethargy, hopelessness, the radiation toxicity panels. I have all of this, right? I have a whole case study, all in panels, in graphs. She was sensitive to animal hair, the allergies. You see, the allergies pick up. When the body's not coping, you become allergic. You actually become intolerant. Your body can't deal with slight little bit of protein aberrations here and there. Pollen sensitivity, big sugar sensitivity. The food additives were just the worst. The MSG and the chemicals and stuff that they put in the food. Asbestos toxicity. And on top of it, injection toxicity. So from when she was a child, so she'd never really processed any of these toxins because she couldn't, because of her diet and her lifestyle, her desire to be a perfectionist, the incident when her son nearly died and didn't die. So she'd withdrawn. She never breathed deeply ever since then either, and constricted everything. So she was walking in a constricted, even her body form, you'll see, it's quite rigid, restricted. So she never really breathed out and relaxed. And perfectionist, the joy, you got to bring the joy back. So this is typical picture here as well. And we're going to move over to the skin. Oh, by the way, also genetically modified foods. So those people who talk about the device also shows genetically modified food, which is a big plus because you can go in there and run the panels to realign the person there. So what happens is the subconscious brings the information to the quantum software, and then through bioresonance and autofocusing, the frequencies go back to realign what's out of alignment. So you don't have to worry about setting a machine, deciding on the voltage, how long, choosing various frequencies. They're all in the quantum field with a trivector, looking at spiritual, emotional, neurological, and physical all in one go. And then if the bioresonance goes out as well, it's not only a physical, let's go and zap the candida, what about the cause of it and everything? So the whole holistic package goes to the patient, the client. So let's have a last look, make sure that I've gone through all these. Yeah, I think I've done a pretty good job at getting through all of these. And you know what, also, in fairness, a lot of these toxins are not her fault. When you become overloaded with toxins, your breathing automatically goes down. Your willingness to run and walk and get outside and contribute positively to a conversation, keep optimum weight, keep all the blood sugar, the blood pressure, the metabolic in place. It's a vicious cycle downwards, and you just eat more sugar and eat more fried food and eat more processed food, and you just become downward spiraling, and then the degeneration sets in, you see. So the actual root cause in the beginning of it all, yes, it can be emotional for sure, but it hasn't made it easy for us this lifetime, because we've got this load of toxins that comes in on us, which makes it even more challenging, hence our situation right now. So we also start with the blood, you see, because the blood reveals really, really, really a lot. And you can see a lot of fattiness in the blood, slowing it down here. The most important point here is you can see the spirochetes, the spiral, Lyme's diseases, those kind of yellow fever from the injection, those little guys, and they live inside the red blood cell. And this is why you'll get something like an ivermectin kind of working, because it works on the blood. It doesn't remove, all right? So you will get an improvement, but sorry, everybody, it doesn't get these out, stop them coming, and actually stop the mRNA entering the cells, okay? Because at the end of the day, that's a fragment. People already have parasites, so it's going to help. So if we've got a barrel of toxins, right, and more get shoved in, eventually that barrel's full. We're going to have an asthma attack. We're going to have an eczema psoriasis attack. We're going to have a brainwave attack. The circulation's going to struggle. The blood sugar's going to struggle and everything as a result of the side effects of those toxins being in us with the wrong spin and things multiplying and everything going awry. Our own body's opportunistic organisms becoming pathogenic and also circulating. So when you take something that's going to reduce pathogenic behavior, parasitic behavior, you're going to feel better, because suddenly the barrel is not 100% full. It comes down to 80. Still all that insidious stuff at the bottom. Lyme's disease, anthrax, all lying there. Mercury, arsenic, cadmium, thallium. Okay, so we've got a big job to empty that barrel, put it that way. The girl I spoke about earlier with the lung story, we've got a big barrel to empty, including, oh my gosh, the sadness, which goes with the lungs, you see. So I don't have to say to her, are you sad? Or I'll just tell her, y'all, normally lungs are associated with sadness. The tears just come out. It happens to me regularly in the pop-up stores when I go as well. They know. It's where things are so accurate and it's repeatable, Not everyone's unique, but it's repeatable. If the liver's up, what are you angry about? They'll tell you. So just to keep going some more, let's just see here. Oh, electric blankets. Booyah. Electric blanket is about one of the most dangerous things you can do, because you're actually sleeping on that electromagnetic field. It is draining you the whole entire night. It's getting you into the wrong magnetic spin. It's just taking all your electrons. It's taking all your everything out of you. It is about the worst thing anyone can do. Good old-fashioned hot water bottle. Okay, very bad to sleep in that field. Oi, what happened there? Sorry, I think I got a bit wild with the with the pointer. All right, so let's get to the nitty-gritty of all of this. So we especially look at all these other little organisms, all these little white spots. These are things that are all different sorts of bacteria, fungi, yeast, opportunistic pathogens, parasites. The quantum device labels it for you. It tells you what it is. You can look at the outer the membrane of these red blood cells. It's not smooth. It's not beautiful. It's not crystal clear. This is also after I've rubbed. You can see also there's rubbing. I've rubbed the cells. So I've distorted the cells a little bit, and you have to, if you want to see these little guys, you actually have to rub it a little bit. So they haven't weathered it well. They've gone kind of pasty or disorientated. So this thing, a microscope, important because I can show my clients, look, there's a rod bacteria. Here's some L-shaped bacteria. Let's go and find out what they're called, and let's go and clean up this mess. This, incidentally, is dark field microscopy. Most people don't have a dark field. They only have a bright field. So that you won't see this in a bright field at all. All right, so let's have a look at a toxicity panel. You know, I didn't want to bore you and bring every conceivable panel through. Let me just start there again. All right, there we go. Hope you can see well. So here we have 3 main levels of toxicity. And these levels all need to be 100, right? So this is our benchmark. And we can see each time we run the quantum, what's actually going on. And these levels need to come down. Otherwise, there's a problem. They're sleeping on a plug, you know, over a whole magnetic field. Or what's the reason if it's not happening? Look at food additives, 210 out of 100. That is huge. Now, you know, if you're not awake and aware, you're going to be therefore ignorant. You wouldn't know, and you would eat the colorants, and you would eat the preservatives, and you would eat the tartrazine. Okay, because that wasn't her path to find out all of this. She was doing other things. So we need to educate. All right, above and below 100 are issues. There's industrial pollutants. There's insecticides. There's our heavy metals. 187. There's our radiation. 49. So above and below 100 are problems. 49 is a huge space from 100, and the under 100 is worse. So stress, mental retention of toxins comes in. I found some interesting things here as well. You can see street drug addiction. Now that would be interesting, and I can't remember. There was always a lot of discussion happening. I can't remember even asking her, but was it her? Was it a parent? Was it somebody that she shared a house with one day that she never knew? Because these things can all affect us. You know, was it in food? You don't know. They're the allergies. Allergies are going to be down because of the whole story. There's weather exposure. There's leaky gut, stomach, constipation. And here we've got the actual pathogens and parasites. A big fat amoeba living in her gut, eating all her serotonin, all her happy hormone, her GABA, all the goodness not getting through to the body. There's a big bacterial infection there. Fungus not as high, malaria not too high. Prions, those would be the GM man-made ones, high. Rickettsias, those would be those little spiral ones, the Lyme's diseases, etc. Vaccination, 156. So you can't tell me that we can't find everything. We find everything and we realign the body. We come back and we measure. And we show somebody, you've moved 30%, you've moved 45%, you've moved 75% in 1 hour. Electromagnetic, chemical, molecular, atomic, electron spin shift. That's going to affect you physically. Has to. It feeds in. Viruses, worms, food poisoning. That amoeba is there mainly because food poisoning, the food was off. The crayfish she ate, or the prawns, or the shrimps, or the mussels, or the oysters, or the old piece of meat, beef, the 3 days, the 5 days old food that you thought, oh, it's going to be okay, not okay. Food poisoning. Have to get it out. Sugar toxicity. And then we can have a look at some other things here. If I just broaden this one, but you can see it's having an effect on her heart, muscles, a biggie. So what is she going to do about it? She's going to detox. She get rid of the confusion so she can think clearly. You see, everything that I say is specific because I've seen it and I know we've got to fix it. All sorts of solvents. I told you about the solvents. The stomach's upset, the sinuses are upset. That'll be linked to the lungs, the lipids all over the place, the fat not digesting properly at all, blockage of oxygen, she's not breathing properly, spinal energy flow. How can it be? How can it flow when the oxygen is not in there? And the brain, lead, mercury, manganese, all stress, lymphatics blocked. Even the eyes are starting to, the liver cirrhosis. And if I go further down and further down, it's going to tell us, look, conflict with parents or self or God. We need to sort that out. Bitter, blockage of joy. I think I mentioned that. Here's the skin, dermatosis, lupus vulgaris, leprosis tendencies, infection, degeneration of skin. She's emotionally irritated with someone. Paresis, sclerosis, optical nerve, and bacteria and so on, and a whole enormous amount down here. Lots of low oxygen and very high carbon dioxide, lots of acid. So here we started. These were the pictures, and I'll show you the products that we gave her, but I think you'll all agree. I mean, this is pretty hectic. It was intensely itchy, so itchy that she couldn't sleep. She was awake the whole night. All right. I really, really felt sorry for her. Her lungs, her liver, her kidneys, and her gut were blocked. So there was an overflow of toxins coming out of the skin. And the skin broke. It was fragile. It was thin. She already had an acidic skin, lacking on moisture already, was already dry. And all these things started happening now. As we started bringing in the oxygen, the flaxseed oil, the microbiome reset, the RNA, DNA started repairing, and then there was this dryness started happening because we were starting to descale. We started to descale her. Look here. You see, look at this. Started descaling, intensely itchy, very parasite driven, just about totally parasite driven. Okay. Very bad. So sexually transmitted disease is not her, but you get this very, very, very bad rash, very itchy, very bad rash as well. That's not their fault either, by the way. Those are also GM. But the area of the calf and under the chin is where we hold most of our toxins. It's always good to have a foot bath. So she was doing all of that. She was bathing in it. Look at this. Absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. And then she showed me in the mornings when she woke up how in the night the toxins had poured out. And this kind of scleroderma type of pattern was happening. So we were giving her lots for her liver to help the detox. But she was adamant she didn't want allopathic medicine. Then we started clearing a bit. I'm going to show you some pictures now. We started getting skin coming through. As we cleaned, as she bathed, as she followed everything, we started getting clearing. There started getting clearing happening. And that we knew was a breakthrough. And she was telling me that there were breakthroughs and it was less itchy and she was sleeping more. So I was very happy about that. Here you can see the normal skin starting to come back. And you can see here as well, not that scaly. Everything far more subdued. In fact, when she came, I sprayed her one arm. And she said it got very warm, but by the time she left, that arm was less red than the arm that wasn't sprayed. And the hives were down. So we sprayed, we did whatever we could here. Lots of water, lots of hydration. And then I was looking and I told you all about mercury toxicity. And I sent her this picture because this is showing mercury toxicity on top of the pathogens, the parasites, the other chemical, heavy metal, well, with extra lead, arsenic. This is what it starts looking like. Absolutely terrible. The toxins are just pouring out of this lady. And even worse down here because of gravity. So the heavy metals come further down. And then we started seeing the light. And we started getting well. So I'm sure you'll agree that's a massive shift. And these people that go through this kind of, it's a journey. You won't be the same as your starting point. Definitely not mentally, definitely not emotionally, and not spiritually, because you've let all of that go. You're definitely thinking more clearly. You're definitely living more productively. Life is preparing you for something else. You know, in her case, her husband was diagnosed with cancer. So she was able to then cope with the next step that life dished out to her. I'm sorry, but it doesn't end. There's always challenges, and life is like that, because we'll have a challenge, which Professor Desiree Dubonnet says it's an obstacle of the mind. It's an illusion of the mind. Obstacles are an illusion of the mind. It's how you get around, over, or through them. It's how you perceive it. That very split second, how you perceive it. What's the gain for me? What's the teaching? What is life? What is the universe showing me? Okay, always. So as we take our steps up, our steps of initiation, and I think if we can get that right, we can actually accelerate it and get to a higher vibrational level, maybe higher than was even anticipated this lifetime. Who knows? I don't know. We have to go into the future to ask that kind of question. As Professor says, some of the things we don't know. We don't know. That's good, guys. Listen, we got to work on, you know, evidence-based medicine with our device and actual patients coming back and telling us. And then let's see. This is the slide here that I got together with basically what we did. We went through the reset, the restore phase, and then the rejuvenation phase. So I haven't spoken a lot about that, but that is actually, if you wanted to kind of quantify objectively the stages that you take somebody through. And that can also, those are cycles. Reset, restore, rejuvenate. Reset, restore, rejuvenate. And you're just going into a wider circle all the time. Dotting the I's, crossing the T's. So obviously we're using our device, and we obviously using also the nutrients. The flaxseed oil I mentioned to get the electropotential across the membrane, in addition to omegas, in addition to lubricating the lungs and the gut, the reproductive mucous membranes, highly important for to resist infection, right, and stability and immunity. And also the actual cell membrane itself, to fill it with proper oils, and for the skin. And she couldn't restore her skin until we'd got the acid level balanced. You see, highly acidic, highly inflammatory. The body trying to do something, going red. What does the cortisone do? Takes the red away, takes the itch away, does not remove the cause. So we let the cause pour out. And I worked with her, daily. And then we used, obviously, the microbiome reset with 80 to 100 live strains, started recolonizing and resetting her microbiome, not anyone else's, hers, naturally. And then consuming prebiotics in the form of grains, in the form of celery, artichokes, the very cellulose-y vegetables, because that's where the probiotic will live and multiply. So you need the prebiotic, natural prebiotics. And if you really can't eat them, well, then go and buy them in a bottle. Don't know. Just hope that it's not synthetic. Then the Ormus Gold, which does it's a capacitor, it charges her, it gave her charge. It's also unbelievable for the skin. We used an Ormus balm. So I mixed the Ormus with a very high Ormus containing vegetable oil, cold pressed, of course. And that actually fed through the 7 layers of skin, which we talked about last time. And also got to the bloodstream, but it was able to penetrate. So if she put something like an aqueous cream on, all it's going to do is form an impenetrable barrier. The skin can't breathe and the toxins can't actually get out. So not a good idea. A very soft brush, that's a nice idea to brush away those little flaky pieces. And then to spray with microbiome reset, spray with the Cell Vitality Oxymineral drops, bath in the drops. The drops are amazing. Your skin, you get out of the bath with like a new skin. It's just beautiful. It's like you've been in an exfoliating chamber and all the little pieces come off. The bath is full of them actually when you get out at this level. And then our intense free radical scavengers, the oxyminerals, to go in there and remove everything foreign to the body. We've been given it. So we use it. And the skin cleanse and restore, because that would be bringing in the herbal, the kelps, the chlorophyll, the bee pollens, the Siberian ginsengs, also to calm her, adaptogenic herbs, to start feeding the skin from a herbal electromagnetic point of view. And then replica rNDNA is unbelievable for every single cell in the entire body, because it starts resetting the DNA and the RNA, right, the genetic code. And all of these products, by the way, are vegan. And then starts repairing, because when those cells regenerate, they're perfect. And that one also will boost immunity, so that the Cell Vitality Oxyminerals can go and, well, they don't need to be told. They will go and scavenge anyway, but it boosts our own innate immune system to go and find the things that it wasn't wired to find. And then we bring in some stem cells here, because of the bone marrow was waiting for the kidney to cleanse before it could start building immunity. So we wanted to build the immunity quickly. So the RNA, DNA, replica, and the activist stem cells quickly did that for us as well. So a very simple recipe, but I think she used some zeolite, some of our zeolite on her skin as a little clay, sometimes in the bath or sometimes just outside the bath dry, and then got into the shower. So that's also quite a nice thing. It also takes a bit of the itch away. So this was part of her reset, and she's now on a zeolite. She's on the stress defense, nutrient dense smoothie mix that we have. She's still on the RNA, the activist stem cells, the microbiome reset, the flaxseed oil. Almost, you're not going to get away from that. She's on a maintenance dose of the Cell Vitality Oxyminerals, constantly restoring, resetting, rejuvenating now on her journey. I think that's about it. Oh, last week I showed you this home use and professional use. This is the very device that I was sold. They're very unique. It's probably about 8 years old. It's been around the world. It's been to Moscow, Los Angeles, all around Europe, UK, It just hasn't been to South America, Asia, Australia, New Zealand. It's been around Africa, not around, but a few places in Africa. So that's the very device, just by the way. And the computer and the products. And then here is the university, the Quantum University diploma. That's 600 euros. The mentor is 480 euros. And that's online. And then there's our actual device. There's a smaller one that basically costs that, but you don't get all the software. So you might as well, it's the same down payment virtually. You might as well put that down payment down, lease it, and then pay the rest off over a couple of years. Let me just go back here. And then the whole skin range, including the Skin Cleanse and Restore, is on the website. I've put together a really nice range of products, all mist-based, with a day cleanser, night cleanser I showed you last time, and this oxymineral spray mist increases the connectivity of the cells, with the all mist balm over, further increasing connectivity and restoring aging and wrinkles and removing blemishes. That's one of the things that people tell me, but they will tell me that their friends and people they come into contact with remark about the glow on their skin. And it's true. You're almost in an almost capsule. So we've got a bigger bottle of the balm as well that some people buy, and you feel like you're in an almost capsule. You know, so you consume some and you put some on the skin and everything's joining in. So that's great. We've got the Zeolite exfoliating clay mask as well. And we've got a tissue oil. The tissue oil's got frankincense and myrrh in it. We've got the gold in the almost gold. The tissue cell serum also has rose, gold, frankincense with the almost gold. So yeah, I think we're on the very high levels there. The evening and night cleanser's got jasmine, and the day cleanser's got grapefruit and lemongrass. So the smells are nice. And the oxymineral spray mist is a rose spray mist. So we've really gone for the highest vibrational smells, perfumes, and and I've just been very busy with a lot of also cerebral malarias and people with COVID. I actually have to get to my patient now as well, make sure that they are taking what they need to take. This guy could hardly breathe. And so I sent him the COVID kit. I sent him the flax. I sent him the almost gold. I sent him the microbiome reset. And in the COVID pack, I think I've got a picture here of it actually. We've also got the iodine. Oh, here's the COVID pack. Sent it all to him. And I put him on the device at the same time. 20 minutes later, the products were there. Oh, the Para-Immune. He took 4 Para-Immune boosts straight away. He took flaxseed oil. He literally drank 2 capfuls. He took 2 capfuls of microbiome reset. A little bit later, he took 2 capfuls of almost gold. This all happened in an hour. And he put some Himalayan salt in water, and he was hydrating himself. And honestly, within 20 minutes, this terrible, very shallow, pathetic, poor breath, he relaxed completely, and he started to get oxygen into his body. And as the quantum device worked in autofocus, assisting him use the water and hydrating himself, is assisting with the usage of oxygen. The flaxseed oil kicked in. Honestly, within 20 minutes, as I was speaking to a different person. So can you see how quickly we can bring this in? And then he's been on the drop since this afternoon. So that the COVID kit is here. But the prices come down. I brought it right down. You'll see on the website, I think it's 1111. So I brought it right down, which is probably going to be even less than the $69. It's probably going to be 65 or less. And I've just done that because let's get the people well so they can tell the story and the others. And he said to me, Jane, you know, my whole family's sick. My daughter had it, my wife, her family, we're all sick. So, you know, there are people coming. So I just thought, let's get the people well. Let's get them thinking clearly so that removed all the drama. So there's iodine, there's para-immune boost, and there's cell oxygen, and then we sent him flaxseed oil, microbiome reset, and almonds. So we got him nice and well oiled and well almost and well microbiomed and well herbed up, because that para-immune defense was basically designed by me to go and hit those spirochetes out of the water, to go and get rid of all of them. So we're coming in on all the different levels: paramagnetically, alchemically, fermented, minerals, oils, herbs, superfoods. Okay, that's how we reset, we restore, rejuvenate. So every client goes through that path, and at different paces and different rates. And okay, so that's it for today. As I said, everything's on the website to do with the skin. But remember, with the skin, clean that liver. Get that liver clean as quickly as you can. Last week, you saw the same thing. Instant results, get that liver clean. And check the kidney and the gut and the lungs, of course. And then the skin's got a chance. Reduce the workload on all the other detox organs. Breathe. Okay. All right, guys. Until next week, have a really good time. And call me with your case studies. Call me with your personal case study. And let's educate. Okay. Bye.